BLAC CHYNA. Currently on a platter, like it don't matter. Do we crown BLAC CHYNA, or do we clown BLAC CHYNA? It's time to get into it. Do me a favor and wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Let's go. Bitch, you want all this pimping you can't afford. Perform like a punk, but want a winner's reward. Some suckers give you points, but bitch, you never scored. If you ain't paying pimping, then bitch, you getting ignored. Okay, I'm so sick of these. Y'all already know me, man. I'm skating and figure eighting through these IG streets. And of course, as usual, I spins the bottle. And this time when I spins the bottle, when the bottle stops spinning, it lands on BLAC CHYNA. Now, BLAC CHYNA is a young lady from Los Angeles by way of Washington, D.C. And with no further ado, we gonna get straight into it. First things first, raw beauty. Now, it's no secret that BLAC CHYNA is heavy on the GMOs. From the posterior region to the bosom area, BLAC CHYNA's had a lot of GMO work done. And unfortunately for her, the GMO work that she had done come from an era when the quality wasn't what it is today. Now, I don't know if it's possible for her to get an upgrade on the GMO work, but if so, that I'm sure would serve her a great deal of justice. With that being said, does BLAC CHYNA have a face that I can see myself waking up to on a regular basis? Nah, man, it's a no for me, dog. To each their own. Some of y'all might think BLAC CHYNA fine as hell in the face. But me, a pimp just can't get jiggy with the weeble wobble head, man. But if you can get jiggy with that face and that weeble wobble head, a pimp ain't mad at you, man. Now, when it comes to presentation, I must say that BLAC CHYNA cleans up exceptionally well. She really does her thing in the dress and heels. I mean, when she put the dress on with the heels, man, she puts it together in such a way that she's definitely gonna be a head turner. She has a wide assortment of flavors in the hair department, and whether it's formal, swimwear, lingerie, casual wear, BLAC CHYNA really can't miss in the presentation department. Personality. Unfortunately, I'd have to say that one of BLAC CHYNA's weakest points is for surely her personality. When you listen to her speak in interviews, she has this air of entitlement about herself, so that hinders any possibility for her to be charismatic. And she has this extreme sense of vanity that just makes zero sense to a pimp. I mean, on one hand, because of her experience with simps and tricks and the way simps and tricks treat themselves with girls like BLAC CHYNA, the way they serve as a doormat to girls like BLAC CHYNA, I can understand the vanity to an extent. But on the other hand, because she's so emotionally unavailable, because she doesn't really offer much just as a raw, uncut woman, the vanity just don't make no sense to a pimp, man. But everything ain't for me to understand. So it's probably best that I don't understand where her vanity comes from and why it's so strong. Whatever the case, her extreme vanity and her entitlement issues make BLAC CHYNA's personality quite boo-boo. And with her personality being so boo-boo, I'm sure you can imagine that her character is not much different. The way BLAC CHYNA is wired emotionally, it prompts her to be extremely selfish. And selfishness and integrity have nothing to do with each other. So she's not even available to be as big of a blessing to others as she could and should be. And seeing as how she had the opportunity to be a great 304 and do some great 304ing, unfortunately she got knocked up by her regular, i.e. Rob Kardashian. So that lets you know that her dignity bank account has a negative balance as well. See, a good 304 who understands the assignment is not gonna get knocked up by the regular, is not gonna start a relationship with the regular, is not gonna get personal with the regular, is going to keep it strictly business with the regular. See, I already know BLAC CHYNA's favorite movie in the world is Pretty Woman. She really saw herself in a Pretty Woman type of situation. And a good 304 is not gonna do the Pretty Woman thing. But given the potential of the opportunity that she had with Rob Kardashian, if you gonna play the Pretty Woman role, if you gonna become the trick's girlfriend and get knocked up by the trick, you gotta do it right. See, BLAC CHYNA caught Rob when he was vulnerable. Rob was depressed. Rob had a strong hatred for himself and a distaste for his life. And that was BLAC CHYNA's opportunity to be big.
Bitch, you think it's small. We need to be thinking big. You need to be thinking big, bitch. You need to be thinking big, bitch. Think big, bitch.
That was her opportunity to be his inspiration, her opportunity to uplift Rob. and lock him in, for real, for real. But because she thinks so small, because she's so selfish, because she's so entitled, she didn't have any room within herself to be big like she was supposed to be. See, if BLAC CHYNA was thinking big, as they say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. When with the Kardashians, do as the Kardashians do. BLAC CHYNA was supposed to be getting her Kardashian on. And if she was getting her Kardashian on, Rob would be slim and trim. Rob would be loving his life. Rob would be a billionaire. And BLAC CHYNA would be worth at least 9 figures her damn self. So needless to say, her character was not only Rob's biggest enemy, but her own biggest enemy as well. Now, when we get into value and break down the value system of BLAC CHYNA, it makes sense why she moves the way that she moves. It's unfortunate that BLAC CHYNA was dealt the hand that she was dealt. When you look at her mother and her behavior, it's a no-brainer that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And there's obviously no sense of value, no sense of love, no sense of self-importance anywhere within the value system of the family of BLAC CHYNA and her mother. And her selfishness and emotional unavailability can be credited to her low self-esteem. When your self-esteem is low and you don't think much of yourself, you can't be big for others. And that's unfortunately the case with BLAC CHYNA. Her monetary value, on the other hand, is fairly decent. According to many sources on the internet, BLAC CHYNA seems to be checking only bands off the OnlyFans, man. Now, some of those numbers from some of those sources obviously got some yeast on them, man. Yeah, they obviously being blown up. But nonetheless, I'm sure BLAC CHYNA is checking it exceptionally well off the OnlyFans, so her monetary value, I'm sure, is secure. Work ethic. When you consider the opportunities that BLAC CHYNA has had, when you consider the potential that she still has, and compare that to her work ethic, it just doesn't match up. While she may be doing bigger things than the average stripper, the average thought, the average chick trying to make it, the average influencer on Instagram, she's not doing things nearly as big as she should be. See, one thing about people who have entitlement issues, they have a reactive nature about themselves instead of a proactive nature about themselves. So instead of being proactive and making great things happen, they sit back and be reactive. And sometimes, given certain circumstances, when you're reactive, you can react to certain things and good things can come from that. And it may appear that you're being proactive to the untrained mind, eye, and ear. But when you look at everything for what it is, it's plain to see that the work ethic is not nearly where it's supposed to be. Health. BLAC CHYNA seems to be pretty on point with the physical health. She works out on a regular basis, keeps her body together, and she seems to have a pretty healthy diet as well, especially with her not eating meat. As far as mental health is concerned, BLAC CHYNA has obviously been quite the roller coaster mentally over the years. But lately she's been going to a therapist, and hopefully that therapist is serving her some justice and keeping her mental health in order. As far as strength goes, by her keeping up with her diet and keeping up with her fitness, she obviously has some sense of self-discipline. But on the other hand, given her long history of not being able to control her tongue and not being able to control her anger, her strength level has proven to be rather weak in areas where it matters most. And unfortunately, she's not able to impart strength to others, which would be a beautiful blessing if she did. So to recap, raw beauty, heavy on the GMOs, old school GMOs, not up to par with today's GMOs, not much to look at in the face. Presentation, cleans up nicely, really can't miss, from casual to formal to swimwear to lingerie wear. She's definitely a head turner. Personality, not charismatic. Vanity hinders her personality from being on point and blossoming. Entitlement issues hinder her people skills. Character, selfishness doesn't give her the opportunity to have high integrity. Small thinking causes her to fumble great opportunities to be big. Lack of dignity doesn't allow her to keep things in perspective and make the most out of opportunities. Value, no value system whatsoever from her family. Low self-esteem explains a lot of character and personality flaws. Work ethic, more reactive than proactive, and just so happens to be reactive in situations that are great by default, but ultimately not very proactive and doesn't make great things happen as she should. Health, on point with the fitness, works out regularly, on point with the diet, doesn't eat meat, does eat healthy, taking the necessary steps to keep her mental health in order as well, but has a history of being quite the roller coaster mentally, for surely with more downs than ups. Strength, has some sort of self-discipline with the fitness and the diet, but ultimately weak, unable to control tongue, unable to control anger, unable to impart strength to others because of this. So after review, does Freeze think BLAC CHYNA took a shower today? Yeah, man. As many issues as BLAC CHYNA may have, cleanliness doesn't seem to be one of them. I'm pretty sure she takes showers on a regular basis. So do we crown BLAC CHYNA or do we clown BLAC CHYNA? Man, we gonna go ahead and put that red nose on BLAC CHYNA and clown her today, man. While BLAC CHYNA may be doing better than the average female, she's supposed to be because of who she is. But given the opportunities that she's had and how she always fumbles these great opportunities that she has to be big and bigger than ever, we had to clown her today, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that review. If you didn't wipe your feet off on your way in, please do me a favor and wipe your feet off on your way out. Swan dive into that comment section and give some feedback. Let that marinate on your mind one time. Freeze is it. Put some love in your body. And I'll holla.
Now come and take a sip of this game. Pour it down your ear and let it drip to your brain so you can run it up, run it up. And we'll be coming up, really coming up. Take a sip of this game, let it saturate your brain. Taylor, make your homework so we can match it with my name. Then attach it to your frame, right? Now you game tight. You gon' check her back the same night. Now you breaking tricks and handling thousands. While these bitches on the blade doing the mannequin challenge. Standing there looking stupid cause they has no game to hit a trick with, bitch, and that's so lame. Now come and take a sip of